Thanks a lot all for all your presentation before. It was first very inspiring to see all the use case, but also, well, very energizing because we see that it's endless opportunity. And as Dieter just mentioned, it's just the beginning, and it's our duty now to evangelize the role of the metaverse in the future. Now, I want to go to another dimension that was introduced by Alex, and I will start my chrono also to make sure that I'm not exceeding time. It's the sustainability actually. And the reason has been actually mentioned by Adita in the chat. It's actually the computation power, because we talked a lot about metaverse, the high quality, the improvement of the metaverse in terms of 3D model, in terms of, well, the blockchain layer that you use, and in the future also the AI model that will be linked to it. But that will consume a lot of computing power. Some say, it was in on some article, so more than 1,000 more than 1,000 times the current computing power would be needed to comply with the metaverse needed. And we see that from the current energy crisis, and I don't know if you follow a bit in Europe, but we start back some coal plant even, which means that electricity consumption will produce CO2. And that will also be a huge challenge for metaverse in the future to be sustainable. And that's what we want to tackle with Metaverse. Just to give you an example, so there was the Metaverse Fashion Week in Decentraland. It was in the course of March, I think, more or less 100,000 participants. That is the same amount of energy that 100 households on a yearly basis. So this is a huge amount of energy. If you assume then that you would have millions of participants to some concert in the future, you can quickly grasp that the energy part of the metaverse will really soon be a challenge. And we do not have the time to solve it. We have only 3 years, according to some expert from the IPCC, to change the global warming issue. So how do we tackle that? And that's something I presented already in the past. I'm just repeating quickly myself. We have 3 options when it comes to decarbonization. The first one is, well, to pay for emitting CO2. That's a scheme that has been developed notably with the Kyoto Protocol, embedded in some country in Europe. It's called the ETS scheme, but you still produce CO2. And the best amount of CO2 is actually an amount of CO2 that is not produced. And that's what we want to tackle with connecting metaverse to renewable. There is another option that you see in the middle, which is removing CO2 with carbon offsetting, like planting tree. The big challenge with this option is that it's not really traceable. So it's an option that we can use if there is no renewable available, but it's much less traceable than just connecting directly to renewable. So how does that can work? Well, just to give you an idea, and that's also something I presented in the past, if you look at your household, you can actually, thanks to the metering of a windmill, so windmill, when it's producing energy, it will be metered. And thanks to the metering, connecting to your metering at home, we can make the connection. If the location of the windmill, of course, is not in the US while you are consuming in Europe. Now, as soon as you open your laptop, that's another story, because you will start triggering some data centers, some edge computing power all over the world. And that's where we want to come into play. Because a good thing is that worldwide, there is a scheme that is existing, which is called the Guarantee of Origin, that is actually generating a certificate each time a renewable is producing energy. And that's available in the US, that's available in Europe, in Asia, in South America as well. And so it's run by certified bodies, so it's trusted as well. The big issue is this. It's a PDF. So it's really old school traded as well. Like you need to be a trader for getting access to it. And it's generally for a huge amount because it's tailored for big companies, big industry. So what do we want to do in order to bring sustainability to metaverse is that we want first to bring this into a programmable solution. So we create an NFT out of the PDF. Then the big question, and Adita was mentioning that a lot of GPU are needed for its application. We will need to compute based on the infrastructure of specific use case, specific metaverse, how much energy would be consumed and where. And then you will extract from the certificate the exact amount of energy and create a new NFT. And this NFT then can be linked to any use case. It could be a wearable, it could be a ticket to enter a concert, it could be anything. So Coming back to the solution, we start by creating an NFT out of the certificate. We compute, and then you have a table with the amount of energy and the country. And then you extract the exact amount of energy and create a new NFT out of it. Again, we talk here about renewable energy, not necessarily about carbon offsetting. And this will be applicable to any Web3 application and even Web2 decentralized application like streaming. But the first focus will be on NFT and Metaverse. And so you can think about many brands, many use cases. The one of the use cases, and Adita talked a lot about it, that is quite important at the moment is the digital fashion, because fashion by design is really conscious about the sustainability. And so it's also one of the first industry to shift to Metaverse. So that's the first very eco-conscious target that we have at the moment. Now, I don't talk about the numbers, but I just want to show in this chart that if you look at Web3 in general, the biggest amount of energy consumed will come from Metaverse. And certainly for people around the table is obvious, but not for everybody. It doesn't come from blockchain, because blockchain we will shift from to proof of stake, which is consuming much less energy, but it will come much more from, as Adita was also mentioning, from the GPU for the 3D model, but also for the AI model that will consume energy on different data center, but also from the end user device and the networking. And I think we have a presentation on infrastructure afterwards that we could relate it to that. Now, what is the product that we want to propose is twofold. Is first, well, the sustainability as a product. So as I said, you create a certificate and then you embed that into wearable, you can embed that into a ticket or even to an event. Or sustainability as a code, and you embed that directly into your code and it will compute directly which amount of energy is needed and extract it and create the NFT automatically out of it. I can quickly show you then, because it might be a bit, seems complex like that, how it could look like. So so this is a mock-up of what we are developing, and we are on a few weeks from the official launch. Let's assume that you want to propose your green energy. You will connect with your wallet, which is actually a challenge at the moment because we need to get trader getting a wallet, but we start to having that. And then you upload your certificate, which is a PDF. You will get all the information about your certificate, so where the energy is coming from, where it was the issuer. The good thing with this certificate, you can even have the address of the windmill. And then you will sign it. And I think we touched with Adita presentation about SSID. This is signed with a VC, so a verifiable credential, out of a decentralized identifier. So it's fully trusted because it's coming from directly the trading companies. Now, if you want to consume it, and we just exchange about Metaverse Event, let's assume that you want to make an event in Decentraland. Well, you would have the opportunity to calculate, thanks to the calculator modules, then the amount of energy and the split between the countries. Then you will select the kind of energy that you want and which is the wearable, which is the outcome or the product that you want to link it to. So let's assume that you want to link it to a wearable. Then you will create a ticket that will include exactly this amount of energy in this wearable, and you generate it, and then you can use it as a ticket for your party, and you have the split of energy all around the world. So I will, as I said, there are different use cases, and two use cases that we focus on at the moment is decarbonizing of an NFT marketplace based on Ethereum, and another one is the Metaverse Event, and there will be more information soon, but we are creating the first, in Decentraland, the first sustainable Metaverse event running on green electricity, where you will get an NFT drop, which will be decarbonized, we'll have DJs running. And when you will enter, you will be asked where you come from. And in this calculation, we will take into account Decentraland consumption and on top of end user device consumption. We have some partnership, I'm not going into detail, but some that are quite important is actually the organizer of event. I think Rajat gave a lot of very good example on how corporate are using Metaverse. This is the kind of target also for this service, because now we can run Metaverse event, but also in a sustainable way. We can go further in the future. So as I say, sustainability as a code and as a product, we're not going into detail, but you can think about actually running a full Metaverse green. You can think about having a full NFT marketplace green. That's a kind of vertical where this product can evolve in the future. So that was it for me. I think I stick to my 10 minutes. It was a bit of pressure injection. And I'm available in the chat if you have any question.
Thank you, Loïc.